Welcome back, focused learners. Today, we're diving straight into a massive update in the AI coding space with this explainer of the Claude Code 2.1224 release. If you've been looking to understand exactly how the tools shaping our development workflows are evolving, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down these release notes step by step so you know exactly what this means for you, your team, and your architecture. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and honestly, the energy is super high for this one because this update fundamentally changes how we scale and secure AI agents. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, introducing self-hosted runners. Second, cross-session messaging unlocked. Third, upgrading security and plugins. Fourth, crucial fixes and interface. And fifth, the unlimited sub-agent era. Now, right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. This is a feature release, not an underlying AI model update. What does that actually mean for you? It means we aren't talking about how Claude processes language today. We are talking entirely about structural capabilities. We're looking at the scaffolding, the security, and the operational tools that actually let you deploy Claude Code in the real world. The big takeaway here is that your tool belt just got significantly heavier and a whole lot more capable. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Introducing self-hosted runners. Your infrastructure, your rules. So this first major update addresses a massive infrastructure need, specifically for team and enterprise users. This is where organizations finally get to rewrite the rules of their deployments. The headline addition here is a brand new command, Claude Self-Hosted Runner. Basically, this lets users on team and enterprise plans designate their very own physical machines, virtual machines, or even Docker containers to be the actual compute engine running their Claude Code sessions. Think about the implications of this. It's literally like pulling Claude out of the public cloud and dropping it directly into your own private data center. Whether your users are on web, mobile, or desktop, their sessions can now securely execute right inside your own walls. We are moving away from standard public cloud execution and straight into self-hosted environment control. Now, standard cloud execution is convenient for sure, but at the end of the day, your compute happens on someone else's servers. For organizations dealing with strict compliance frameworks, highly sensitive intellectual property, or air-gapped systems, this new self-hosted runner is the holy grail. It gives you absolute control over exactly where your workloads run and where your data lives during processing, and you don't sacrifice an ounce of power from the Claude Code interface. Moving on to Section 2, Cross-Session Messaging Unlocked, the Collaborative Agent Team. Two surprisingly simple commands are completely changing the architecture of agent coordination on macOS and Linux. We are shifting from isolated AI assistants working in silos to a fully chatting, collaborative team of agents. First up, we have Send Message. This capability literally lets one Claude Code session ping a message straight over to another session, even if it's running on a completely different machine in your fleet. And to make that possible, we have List Agents, which lets a session discover exactly what other sessions are currently active and available to pitch in. They can now talk directly to each other, delegating tasks and sharing context without any human middleware. But with agents freely messaging each other, we absolutely need guardrails. And that's where these two built-in controls come in. Cross-session inbound acts as your security checkpoint. If a receiving session is running with bypassed permissions, this setting pumps the brakes and holds any inbound messages for human approval, keeping things totally secure. Meanwhile, messages to standard sessions just deliver automatically. The second control, dialog expiry, simply sets the timer on how long those held messages will wait before they just time out. It's a really perfect balance of seamless collaboration and strict oversight. Section 3, Upgrading Security and Plugins. Trustless verification and expressive masking. It used to be that if you wanted a plugin, you were pretty much restricted to pulling from Git or NPM. Well, not anymore. You can now use the new Archive plugin source to install a plugin directly from a zip file served over HTTPS. But the real game changer here is SHA-256 hash pinning. You can optionally pin your installation to a specific cryptographic hash. This guarantees trustless, verifiable security. You don't have to rely on a third-party registry anymore. You can verify exactly, byte for byte, what you are installing onto your system. And your environment variables just got some highly expressive options. Whether you need structured extraction, like precise regex-style extraction of secrets, or the ability to peer inside and mask specific JSON web tokens, or even secure AWS credential re-signing, it's all right here. But there is a golden rule to make these advanced sandbox credential masking features work. All of these options require your network TLS to be properly terminated. This basically means your network setup needs to handle the secure decryption layer. As long as network.tls terminate is configured in your settings, your environment variables are locked down tighter than ever. Section 4. Crucial fixes and interface. Closing loopholes and polishing remote control. Let's rapid fire through these bug fixes because they are absolutely critical for your production reliability. First, the sandbox trailing slash bypass, where someone could essentially sneak past a directory lock by just adding a slash at the end of a path, is permanently history. That dangerous loophole on Linux and macOS is closed for good. Second, when a sandbox violation happens, Claude actually tells you exactly what file or network was denied and why, rather than just failing silently. Third, they squashed a really nasty bug where project paths over 200 characters collided with other directories, totally messing up your session lists and forks. And finally, send message no longer lies to you. If writing to a teammate's inbox fails, it now properly surfaces as an error instead of a fixed success. Alongside those fixes, the remote control UI got some much-needed polish. If you've used attached web or mobile clients, you know the absolute pain of those silent pauses during context compaction. You sit there wondering if the whole thing just crashed. Well, that era is over. Clients now see a clear compaction progress indicator. Also, when you use a /clear reset, it actually propagates across all your attached clients properly. Connection failures are handled beautifully now with persistent indicators, detailed errors, and quick reconnect shortcuts. And honestly, a huge relief for developers. The VS Code extension has finally been fixed so it drops that annoying false connected status when it actually loses its connection. It's all about giving you clear, honest visibility.
And that brings us to Section 5, the unlimited sub-agent era. Taking the brakes off.
Let's look at how this impacts your capacity to scale. 200. That number used to be the hard ceiling. It was the absolute maximum sub-agent limit per session. If you had a really complex, long-running session, you would eventually hit a wall where it would just flat out refuse to spawn new agents. Well, I am thrilled to explain that as of version 2.1224, this ceiling has officially been shattered. The cap is gone. Now hold on, before you accidentally crash your entire self-hosted infrastructure by spawning a million agents, let me briefly clarify. While the 200-agent total cap has been completely removed for those long-running sessions, structural guardrails are still safely in place. The system still enforces concurrency limits, meaning how many agents run at the exact same time, and depth limits, which restricts how far down the nested chain an agent can spawn another agent. So you get unlimited total agents over time without sacrificing systemic stability. As always, an explainer like this gives you the essential structure, but if you want to really get your hands dirty with configuration files and terminal commands, you need the docs. Direct your browsers to cloudmaster.net. That is the source material for the full Claude Code manual, plus some really deep, plain English guides on every single feature we discussed today. We've gone from installing self-hosted runners in your own server rooms, to letting agents securely text each other, to finally completely removing the ceiling on how many agents you can spawn. The structural limits have been lifted. So I leave you with this. With the sub-agent cap removed, what complex architectures will your agents build next? Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.